In the late 1990s, thanks to technological developments that improved the power of PC and console gaming, titles with 3D graphics flooded the market. Finally, instead of flat, pixelated characters, we had a more lifelike Mario kicking Koopa's ass. Boys were introduced to the busty Lara Croft, and Rayman somehow managed to function even though nothing connected his hands and feet to his body. In amongst the hundreds of human and anthropomorphic creatures being served to us though, family-friendly interactive studios, later renamed Blitz Games, brought us a new kind of character in 1998. A hero to stand above heroes. Glover, a severed hand that smacks and pushes around different sized balls. I swear this game is for kids. It was even published by Hasbro Interactive. Okay, so technically Glover is actually a sentient glove, the right one from a pair that belongs to a ruling wizard. Thanks to a spell-making related accident, he gets separated from his owner and brother, and it's down to him to save one, defeat the other, and rebuild the kingdom with only his 4 fingers to help him walk around, and the aid of a mystical crystal that can transform into a rubber ball, bowling ball, or a metallic ball bearing to hit switches, attack enemies, and reach collectibles. Although the plot is as generic as you can get, what makes this title truly fascinating is the way the protagonist's design and mechanics are implemented. Each of the ball types have their own physics dynamics, making it necessary to think which is ideal for each situation. The rubber ball, which you'll end up using most of the time, is good for bouncing to higher levels but can be a little difficult to control sometimes. Whereas the bowling ball sinks, so is good for getting to underwater switches, but is slow and doesn't have a long slap distance for hitting enemies. Even the simple idea of Glover being nothing more than a glove makes the act of interacting with the ball or walking around a lot of fun. Who didn't grow up pretending their hand was a little creature at some point, or watch Thing in the Addams Family and want to see him do more? If you lose the ball, whereas another game would use something else to guide you, Glover just jumps into the air and points in the direction you need to go. If your controller is inactive for several seconds, Glover lays down and almost impatiently drums his fingers on the ground. It's little things like these that make progressing through the game's 6 worlds good, silly fun. If only that was all there was to say about this game, for if Glover himself represents the interesting mechanics, his brother who falls in the cauldron and becomes evil must represent the worst element that overshadows the whole game and keeps it from greatness. The dreaded camera! Since polygons were introduced to gaming, developers have had to decide whether to use fixed, locked or dynamic cameras, each having their own pros and cons. Dynamic cameras became the standard as they made players feel more immersed in the rendered 3D environments. But sometimes, as in this game, they could be too loose, easily floating out of control and ridiculously temperamental. As a result, trying to navigate Glover from platform to platform can be treacherous, and crossing thin walkways almost always ends in certain death. Sometimes the camera even refuses to move at all and leaves you unable to see where your character is on the other side of a wall. I wish this was something I could just put down to using the analog sticks on my PS3 controller whilst recording footage for this review, but I played the game on PC when it was originally released, and then again when it was ported to the PlayStation 1 a year later, and I remember it being just as difficult even back then. If you play for a long enough length of time, you do start to get into the rhythm of moving your character and manoeuvring the camera in tandem, but it can still be exceptionally frustrating at particular points. Unfortunately, because of that key flaw, the clunky controls and the story's blandness, I hesitate to recommend that you check out this forgotten and underrated game. But at the same time, regardless, the bright colours, cheery music, fun designs, and what it attempts with the mechanics make it at least worth a cursory playthrough on the Nintendo 64, PC or PlayStation 1, especially if you're a fan of titles in the genre such as Super Mario 64, Croc, Crash Bandicoot, etc. It's nowhere near as good as them, but it at least tries, which is a lot more than some of the countless cut and paste releases of the time did.